Despite the early missions of Wings of Liberty indicating that overthrowing Mengsk is the main plot of the game, the actual plot is that you need to get all the pieces of the artifact. So Raynor's actions to overthrow Mengsk are essentially pointless because they don't affect anything important. Even though Raynor is friends with the Protoss, he's perfectly willing to attack them and steal their sacred relics in exchange for money. Unsure whether Blizzard is trying to portray Raynor as ruthless and greedy, or whether they have no idea how a hero should act. For those wondering who the Tal'Darim are, according to the books they're a small group of drug addicts who are separate from the Kala. They're not fanatics and there aren't enough of them to create an army spanning several planets. Artefact Mission 1. Smash and Grab. In this mission you have to get to the Xel'Naga artifact before the Zerg do by killing the Protoss guarding it. This is one of the few artifact missions where Raynor isn't being completely immoral because he's trying to get to the artifact before the Zerg do. An excuse he doesn't have in any other artifact mission because the Zerg are unable to find any other piece of the artifact, even though they're guarded by the only Protoss in the sector and Kerrigan has had 4 years to search for them. This mission is pretty straightforward, though it's unclear why the Protoss don't try to hinder the Zerg and Terrans by blowing up their bridges or moving the artifact somewhere safer. After this mission you learn that Blizzard has retconned Raynor and Kerrigan's relationship so that they were lovers, even though Raynor barely spent any time with Kerrigan in the first Starcraft, and they were never shown having romantic feelings for each other. Artefact Mission 2. The Dig. In this mission you learn that Mobius and Raynor failed to notice the huge Tal'Darim army on Zil, even though it's right next to the Xel'Naga temple that contains the artifact. So you have to use the laser drill to either destroy the Xel'Naga temple or all of the Tal'Darim's bases. Either way, Raynor shows that he cares more about money than he cares about the beliefs of the Protoss. If Blizzard was meant to be showing Raynor slowly becoming more immoral as he tries to get the artifact, they did a poor job showing it. Even though the laser drill is an extremely useful weapon, it's never used in any other missions. Not even the artifact missions. Though you get a cutscene with Zeratul after completing the dig, I decided to omit it from this review of the artifact missions, and will cover it in the prophecy missions. Artefact Mission 3. The Mobius Factor. For those who missed it, Narad is Duran spelt backwards, so the black guy from Brood Wars is possibly a white guy in Wings of Liberty. Since Narud needs the help of Raynor's raiders to destroy the 3 data cores before Kerrigan can find them, I guess he's not secretly a powerful shapeshifter that has the support of the Dominion and the Tal'Darim. After all, if the Tal'Darim supported Narud, he wouldn't need Raynor to take the artefacts from them. Also, if Kerrigan is sending Zerg to planets with artefacts, or that have information about the artefacts, then why was she attacking Agria, Meinhof and Haven? Was Kerrigan randomly attacking planets in case they had artefacts? One interesting thing in this mission is that Kerrigan has plot armor which makes her invincible, so she can't be killed, injured or captured. I suspect that she shows up in this mission, so afterwards Blizzard could include a cutscene about her. Notice how in this cutscene Blizzard retconned what Raynor said to make it seem like he only cared about Kerrigan. Here's what he said in the original.
Belay that order. We're moving out.
What? You're not just gonna leave them?
All ships prepare to move away from Tarsonis on my mark.
Raynor said leave them because he was concerned about everyone, not just Kerrigan. Artefact Mission 4. Supernova. In this mission, again you have to attack the Tal'Darim and steal one of their artefacts. However, the Tal'Darim anticipated this and their plan involves standing around and waiting to be incinerated by a sun which is about to become a supernova. Raynor's actions aren't as immoral as in other missions because it's likely that the Tal'Darim would have died and lost their artefact even if Raynor hadn't attacked them. Though the Tal'Darim's plan of standing around and waiting to die doesn't make any sense and Blizzard fails to explain why they're doing this. The only other thing I can say about this mission is that the heat from a star about to go supernova would be travelling at nearly the speed of light, so it would incinerate everyone on this planet at much the same time, rather than in stages that could be outrun. After completing this mission, Mengsk's flagship appears in front of Raynor. Rather than do the same thing and contact them to find out why they're here, Raynor instead decides to board the ship and kill Mengsk, even though in other missions he wanted Mengsk brought to justice. After fighting through this ship, most likely killing soldiers on both sides, Raynor gets to the captain's room to find Arcturus Mengsk's son, Valerian Mengsk. Valerian explains that he is the true leader of the Mobius Foundation but fails to explain why he didn't just have the Dominion get the artefacts, despite having control of several battle cruisers. Valerian then tries to make a deal with the man trying to kill his father, all the while being completely indifferent to the fact that Raynor has boarded his ship, killed several of his soldiers, and is now pointing a gun at him. The whole scene makes no sense from anyone's perspective, because if this was a trap devised by Mengs, then Raynor could have been killed by leading him into a room containing a Thor, by blowing up the entire ship after Raynor boarded it, or by having the other battleships blow up the Hyperion. It would also have ruined Valerian's plan if Raynor died in the fighting, or Raynor decided to kill him. Also, where is Tychus? He was with Raynor in the previous scene, but doesn't follow Raynor into Valerian's room. Did he get lost? So Raynor then accepts an offer to help deinfest Kerrigan, despite being given no proof that the artifact can do this, because he's been retconned to be in love with a woman he knew for a short time 4 years ago. Even though in Brood Wars he said he was going to kill her for killing a huge number of people, including Phoenix.
Phoenix! No.
What are you worried about, Jim? He died the way all Protoss hoped to, in combat.
He died because you betrayed him. How many more noble souls do you need to consume before you're satisfied? How many more people need to die before you realize what you've become?
You don't even know what you're talking about, Jim.
Don't I? I'll see you dead for this, Kerrigan. For Phoenix, and all the others who got caught between you and your mad quest for power.
Tough talk, Jimmy. But I don't think you have what it takes to be a killer.
It may not be tomorrow, darling. It may not even happen with an army at my back. But rest assured, I'm the man who's gonna kill you someday. I'll be seeing you.
I suspect that Blizzard retconned Raynor to be in love with Kerrigan because he has no other reason to join Valerian in the Dominion's battle against the Zerg. No, the prophecy missions don't count since you can complete Wings of Liberty without playing them, so Raynor has no reason to believe Zeratul's claims that he has to let Kerrigan live. Back on the bridge, Horner objects to Raynor putting everyone's life in danger because a magical artifact might be able to save his girlfriend. Raynor then says something meaningless. Unsure if Blizzard is trying to make Raynor look insane or whether they just couldn't come up with a good reason for him to side with the Dominion. Artifact Mission 5. More of the Void. In the last mission you go to a Xel'Naga ship and try to take the artifact from the Tal'Darim, just like almost every other mission involving these artifacts. Even though Raynor has beaten the Tal'Darim every time he's fought them, Tychus is worried about fighting them, so Raynor relieves him of command and attacks the Tal'Darim. Odd how Tychus didn't want to fight the Tal'Darim when they had rip field generators, but was willing to fight them on a planet when the sun was about to explode. You then go down to the Xel'Naga world ship and build up a fleet of battlecruisers, rather than just use the laser drill from the dig, which has a long range and won't be damaged by the rip field generators. One of the weird things about this mission is that Raynor's raiders seem to operate using a single battlecruiser. So, being able to build up a fleet of 10 to 20 of them in a single mission means you've technically increased Raynor's entire army 10 to 20 times. I guess Blizzard didn't think through what the size of Raynor's army would mean in a mission where you could build battlecruisers. Once the fleet is built, Raynor destroys all the ripfield generators and slaughters all the Tal'Darim, including their executor. Though you can free some Dark Templars who oppose the Tal'Darim, since this is the last artifact mission, they don't influence the plot in any way. Nor do they help you on Char. They just disappear. Strangely, neither Raynor nor the Protoss try to figure out how the ripfield generators work, even though they would be very effective at annihilating nearly all of the Zerg army on Char. Like the drill, it's a gimmick that's only in one mission then never mentioned again. Afterwards, Raynor and Tychus have a bar fight which somehow fixes all the problems caused by working with the Dominion. I guess Blizzard decided that a bar fight was an acceptable substitute to actually addressing problems such as, why should we risk our lives to help save your girlfriend? And, how are you going to stop the Dominion attacking us the second we're no longer useful? Conclusion. There are several problems with the artifact missions. 1. In Starcraft, Raynor was shown to be friends with the Protoss and even helped them on Ire against the Overmind. However, in Wings of Liberty, all of a sudden Raynor is now willing to attack the Protoss and steal their sacred relics in exchange for money. This isn't how someone who's meant to be friends with the Protoss should act. Raynor should have refused to attack the Protoss because of his friendship with them. 2. In Wings of Liberty, Raynor is meant to be the hero while Mengsk is meant to be the villain. However, when Raynor is shown willingly attacking the Protoss, destroying their temples and stealing their sacred relics in exchange for money, it's impossible to consider him heroic. Raynor should have refused to steal the relics from the Protoss, who currently aren't a threat to anyone, on moral grounds. Thirdly, neither Raynor nor his crew have any reason to side with the Dominion. Likewise, the Dominion doesn't have any reason to side with Raynor's raiders. The scenario where Valerian wants to side with the man who launched several rebellions against his father, where Raynor is willing to side with Valerian in exchange for a magical artefact that can cure Kerrigan, and where Raynor's crew is willing to join Raynor in this alliance after a bar fight is completely contrived. No, Blizzard, you cannot have two opposing forces suddenly work together because the story needs them to work together. You need a compelling reason for this alliance.